I entered the institution on a spring day long ago. It was my first job in the mental health field. Bill Peterson, Program 7 director, hired me on the spot. Despite an exaggerated scowl, his slick-backed hair, short-sleeved, white dress shirt, and clip-on tie were all the opposite of intimidating. Convinced I had nailed the interview, it was only later that I understood that I was hired because I was breathing, paraprofessionally certified, ambulatory, and sober. A pretty low bar. Next, I was directed to a huge two-story building which housed a living unit with about 30 teens and young adults who'd all been diagnosed with mental retardation and or autism. In the 1800s, they would have been called inmates. When I arrived, they were called residents. I stepped over the threshold into Living Unit 66 and my life changed forever. Living Unit 66 challenged my perception of what a living unit was, or if this was really even living. The stench of urine and feces mixed with bleach and cleansers. The day hall, a vast, drab room, was furnished with a few foam chairs and some couches, all in matching foam, and all in preschool primary colors. Tall windows abandoned any attempt at normalcy and were curtainless and covered with a prison-grade screen. A resident ably strobed the overhead fluorescents, flipping a light switch nearby. He was called autistic. But all of these initial observations were peripheral to the main attraction. A television encased in a destruction-proof metal shell was being smeared with dark brown and paste-like feces. The ecstatic naked artist who had liberally streaked himself with shit across his chest and belly, groin and legs laughed in one long croak of celebration, followed by another and another. His label was Down syndrome. There was a main office with an unbreakable window view of the day hall. There I met unit manager Harold Wilson, who explained to me that I would be the group leader for the Cubs' 8 nonverbal residents with autism and mental retardation. Most were incontinent. They needed a lot of help to bathe, dress, and groom themselves. And of course, they all had major behaviors, a euphemism for maladaptive behavior. Some of the cubs hit or bit themselves, and they were called self-injurious. Some tore apart their clothing, bedding, and property. They were called destructive. Occasionally, they would hurt others, biting and scratching. They were simply called assaultive. Yelling, pounding, those were common and called tantruming. None followed directions, and they were called non-compliant. Mine was generally considered the worst assignment at the state hospital. As it turned out, I fell in love with the Cubs. I was trained in applied behavior analysis and taught them alternative ways to be in the world. In turn, they taught me about patience, perseverance, acceptance, and empathy. I think I got the best of that deal. I also came to believe that large institutions should be closed in favor of smaller residences or apartments in community settings. And that's a point made in your readings and lesson content. Thank you.